What's going on, everybody? Today what I want to do is talk about the silent energy leak that nobody ever notices. And this energy leak, once you discover it, once you realize you're doing it, you can start to reclaim your energy. Because a lot of us today, we're walking around exhausted, we're walking around burnt out, we're walking around constantly looking for stimulants to help us get through the day. And what I want to do today is talk about the silent energy leak that nobody ever notices. And if you stop doing this, maybe you have more energy. I'll honestly say no, you will have more energy once you learn to stop doing this, all right? And this silent energy leak is judgment, particularly judgment of others, but also judgment of yourself. See, what we don't realize, let's start with judgment of others and why this actually drains our energy. What you don't realize, when you look out into the world and you see somebody doing something disgusting, something gross. Yes, they might be doing something disgusting or gross on the grand scale of things. But what about the small things? What about that person at work that has a different political opinion from you? What about that person when you're at the gym who's singing on the treadmill a little bit too loud and you start judging them? What about that person that gets the extra food, that orders the extra plate of food when everybody's ready to leave? What about that? See, what we don't realize is what judgment is actually blockages within ourselves. In the previous video, I made a video saying that what we consider toxic is the thing that actually might heal us. Now, I'm not saying go out into the world and look for toxicity, but what you got to realize, when you find yourself judging others, what you find toxic, somebody else might find very, very stimulating. Somebody else might find very, very energetic. So what's the difference? The difference is judgment. You've been taught that that's right and that's wrong. So what the person across from you is actually doing is wrong. Now, in the previous video, I said that our energy doesn't have to be protected. Our energy is meant to flow. What does that mean? People don't understand when I say that. Our energy doesn't need to be protected. It's meant to flow. There's a reason why we're so tired, because we're always trying to protect our energy. But you got to realize, this is how energy works. You have 5 senses: eyes, ears, taste, smell, feeling. What happens is the outside world is sending an energy flow towards us, a vibration. We're taking it all in. And what happens is it comes in through the mind and it touches the heart. The minute it touches the heart makes a decision whether to push it away and resist it, whether to fight with it, or to let it just pass on through. Now, what you're supposed to do is learn to let everything pass on through. But what happens is, when the heart gets stimulated, particularly when we're children, what doesn't feel good, we try to push away. But the problem is, when we push it away, it gets stuck in our system. Just because we push it away doesn't mean it's not still within our bodies. So this is what I talk about a lot of times. The issues are in the tissues. Our issues are in our bodies. What we don't realize, what our actual issues are, is our preferences. The things we prefer to happen in the outside world. So what you got to learn how to do, if you really want to have more energy, you have to realize there's really no such thing. I don't want to say no such thing. I'm not trying to go to the extreme, but there's no such thing as right or wrong. Everybody has their opinion. Yes, I get it. There's things like, if we're going to go to the extreme, of course, things like murder, genocide, all this extremist views. Yes, right and wrong. But what you got to realize is your judgment is secretly draining your energy. And nobody ever really talks about this, because we believe that the outside world is supposed to change for us. Because I have an opinion about something, I need to express it, and I need to fight with the outside world and change it. That way I feel more comfortable. And what you gotta realize is that all this fighting is draining us. It's exhausting. It's tiring. And I know I do it as well. Like, I often look out into the world and I see people doing something that I'm like, why would you do that? And I can feel the disgust building up within me. That's my opportunity to heal. So what do you do when you find yourself judging others? Because when you start to learn how to do this, you really, really start to free up a lot of your energy. What happens is when I look out into the world and I see somebody doing something I don't prefer, there's going to be an instant reaction within me. It's going to be visceral. I'm going to feel it. Particularly if it's disgust, I'll probably feel it in my face. My lips will try to make this weird face. What I have to do in that moment, if I want to free up my energy, if I want to let go of that blockage, because realize judgment, all that is blockages within you. And again, don't go to the extreme, please. Because everybody wants a one-size-fits-all. Well, what about this? Talking about the little stuff. Let's start with the little stuff. Can we handle the little stuff? So, somebody does something I don't like. I don't prefer. I'll give you an example. Right now, my father's in the hospital. And I had to travel 2 hours to get to the hospital that my father was at. And then I get there, and the security guard is giving me a hard time. The security guard is giving me a hard time because my ID is expired. He's giving me a really, really hard time. And I'm like, dude, you know it's me. He's saying, yeah, but because your ID is expired, I can't let you in. He's like, do you have another ID? So then what I did was I pulled out my old military ID, which is also expired. And he's still giving me a hard time. Now, mind you, I've been to this hospital before. I've shown my expired ID. And they've let me in. So I go, dude, I've been here before. I know this is not a thing. For some reason, you're choosing to give me a hard time about it. Now, because I brought this up, this guy is lecturing. And as he's lecturing me, I could feel all of my judgment start to come up. First thing I'm thinking is, I look at the guy. He's a little overweight. Me being a personal trainer, what do you think is immediately happening within me? I could feel the judgment. I could feel the insults wanting to come up. So I just stare at him and I feel all of that disgust coming up within me because I'm really thinking this guy's not about to let me see my father. And I just surrender to it. I just allow this disgusting feelings to come up. I sit with it. I don't resist it. I don't go with it. Because the thing that most people will do, they'll go with those disgusting feelings. They'll actually go out of their way and insult the guy. I chose not to go with it. I chose to sit with it, experience it fully, and just hold eye contact with him. And the guy, he was giving me a really, really dirty look, or a perceived dirty look. I don't know what he's going through. But I just sat with it. And I just held eye contact with him. I did my best to hold presence with him. And as I was doing it, he finally surrendered. And he said, you know what, just go. And I said, thank you, sir. And he let me through. This is what we're supposed to do, because then when I walked into the hospital with my father to go see my father, I felt the lightness. I felt more open. I felt more expressive, to the point where when I did see my dad, I was very, very social. I was very happy to see him because my dad is doing okay. But the idea is, in that moment, I surrendered to the judgment. And I realized for a lot of people, it's so easy to judge. It's so easy to judge. It's so easy for you to think you're better than somebody else. I work with a lot of people who are, quote, very educated. And I'm going to be honest with you. Because they're very educated, they have a bit of an ego, which is why they come to me, by the way. They think they're a little bit better. They are a little bit snooty, you could say. However, they're coming to me because they realize their way of being is probably wrong. Because just because you're educated doesn't mean you could judge others who aren't educated. Because I know a lot of times when I first come to them, they find out I'm not educated. They kind of have this little bit of a ooh, I'm working with somebody who's not educated. And I remember I had one client, this is a long, long time ago. She actually told me, while paying me, Why don't you get a real job? And I guess a real job to her is something where you're highly educated and you work for the corporate world, the 9 to 5. You get paid a 6-figure salary. You don't have to hustle like I do. You don't have to try to close sales. You don't have to, fight. In entrepreneurship, you have to eat what you kill, so to speak. But going back to judgment, how do you let go of judgment? It's what I always talk about. If you can learn to let go of judgment, the way you do it is just become aware when you're doing it and don't resist it. Allow yourself to settle into the feelings. And by the way, as I always say, it's very, very uncomfortable. It sucks. It hurts because you are used to going out there and trying to fix the world. But realize that the world is unfolding. And realize that your energy, if you really, really want your energy to flow, you want your energy to move, you have to allow life to stimulate your blockages within. And it's happening all the time because people ask me, how do I know when I'm getting blocked or being stimulated or being disturbed? It's happening all the time. It's happening all the time. It's literally probably happening to me right now, trying to figure out the right thing to say. So, again, let go of judgment. How do you do it? Become aware when you're doing it. Notice it in the body. Accept it. When you accept it, you'll start to feel it start to move like I did with the security guard. I really, really felt it start to move. And again, at the beginning, it was hard. I wanted to insult the guy. I felt all of these things coming up. I felt the voice in my head try to take over. I felt my ego, my mind try to get involved. I said, no, this is your chance to let go. This is your chance to surrender. This is your chance to choose release over force. This is your chance to choose awareness over control. And that's exactly what I did, to the point where when I did surrender it, when I walked into the hospital, I was able to be present with my father. I was able to be very attentive. I was able to show him love, as opposed to walking in there and complaining about the security guard. And I felt really, really good, by the way. So if you want more energy, let go of your judgment. How do you do it? The 4-step process. I always talk about it. Become aware of it. How do you know you're judging? It's usually in the body. You feel a feeling or sensation. Step number 2, accept it. Don't resist it. Yes, it sucks. It's painful, but it's better than keeping it around, okay? Once you accept it, it'll begin to flow, and you'll start to see it move. And then from there, in time, if you continue to work on this on a day-to-day basis, and remember, this is happening all the time, you'll release it. All right? So, hope you found this video helpful. If you did, leave any feedback in the comment section below. Peace.